Oh my God, I'm so shocked. Okay, so I guess the story they're putting out is that the broccoli heads are behind the fires. Oh my God, the broccoli heads are behind the fires. Janus quinosis, or however you say the name. I don't really care. I forget stupid stuff. Other than that, you'll sound like a human. Don't want to end up doing that. But there we go. We got the broccoli head right there in control of the water, and everything else as they usually are. And you know what else? So you can see all the pictures there. Broccoli, broccoli, broccoli. And so let's look at, where does the name come from? Well, it's the last name is Spanish. You know, those people who conquered the Americas, they supposedly kicked out some of their own people. If I recall, I don't know, there's so many different stories, kind of like just because they write the history, you know, they write like a fake version and then they write a new fake version, a new fake version. So, you know, by the time you're 10 days out from the event, you got like six new ideas, and we're like thousands of years away from some of this stuff. So anyway, so from Spain, that's what the people who supposedly people left because there was no freedom of religion, just like in America there's no freedom of religion. Ah yes, the people who left Spain to take the Egyptian, Middle Eastern, turn to European, to technically Egypt is African, so it's an African religion everyone worships. Imagine that. It's not even Middle Eastern. So that explains why the Middle Easterners get, you know, are the first colonized Abrahamic religion. So anyways, so you have the Spain there, and then there's a whole bunch of story behind Spain being involved in conquering the world, just as UK. But with USA, Spain's like a large player. They were sending Chris Columbus, old Brockla head himself, their Brockla face, on a mission to find land. And then they found land, and they said they was finding the new homeland God promised them. Well, this is apparently something to do all the time. Find new homeland God promised them. So then they found the Americas. If they actually, you know, found it, and it wasn't a planned expedition to go somewhere and conquer it and relocate the empire's capital, or just throw some more land on it, because it's not like they have plans for Australia. So it's land. So they found it, and there's people on it, and people do work. So you either kill them or you force them to work. But anyways, yeah, so that's Spain, and we're not going to get into Spain and USA. That's you know, pretty basic history there. People say UK a lot, but if I recall correctly, Chris Colombo Broccoli was being escorting some ships full of people kicked out of Spain or something. It's hard to find those original stories these days where they talk about how Australia was a penal colony, and I suppose that was kind of the backstory to USA. USA was a nation full of terrorists and criminals who Spain kicked out. They gave them all this money and gold, and then they sent them with their best broccoli, Chris Colombo, and he came over here and he found some new land no one lived on. Apparently, the island just came up out of nowhere, and it was called North America and South America. And so, anyway, so we have that. They're from Spain. And they happen to, the name actually comes from a place called Marcia, which is pretty much like Murica. So, yeah, I mean, they they like to keep their same names, but at the same time, that like I think I've read they said they like to do the name change, and they started that in the 1900s. That's where Zsa Zsa Gabor and Marilyn Manho and things like that come from. Because a lot of those people are using fake names and stuff. A lot of musicians, I guess, a lot of people from 1900 to 1940 are known to have different names. I would suppose right off the bat, old broccoli head Lincoln himself might not have been called Lincoln, but Abraham's a pretty telling name for someone to be claiming that a group called the Abrahamics from Egypt are going around colonizing the world. So there we go. We literally have his first name. It's just right there. You overlook everything. You'll go looking for his parents. You'll overlook his broccoli head. You'll overlook his name's Abraham, and then you'll be like, oh, what's his children? Like, maybe his cousin has the broccoli. Who's got the broccoli? And so let's check out the first name. Okay, what is the first name again? It's Janice. Janesse. Okay, so where does this come from? Did I pull this up before I brought this up? No, you're not going to be able to read that anyways if I pull it up there. But the first result is it's a Hebrew name. Imagine that. So the Hebrews who were slaves to the pyramid, like all the way over here now, and they're the real Americans. She's from Cuba, Puerto Rico. She's from Puerto Rico, which is directly in between USA and Spain and Venezuela and Spain. And so there we have it. It's all there. I mean, the broccoli head kind of gives it away. The pale skin with the broccoli head, and I don't know how they got that. I suppose when they ruled the pyramids and enslaved everyone, they probably raped them. I mean, isn't that how they became pale when they went up through the? We don't know how they got there. We can't even find admissions that they were the pyramid people, other than the fact that they used the pyramid on everything, and it's their sign of power and all that stuff. So, Le Pale Skin Broccoli Head is in control of the water and also gets all the money, more money than pretty much anyone has ever got in that position by a long shot. And guess who else might be involved? Well, oh, hey, this person. You ever seen this guy? Prince Harry. Yeah. You ever heard of that? That's like the most famous people in the world before USA. So they have this bloodline. They openly have this bloodline that owns and controls everything. They own and control their media. It's actually kind of rare. I think Saudi, some other pale skin people right there beside Egypt, and friends with the new neighbors who moved into the Middle East with the help of Hitler, taking them down there. And so they've been owning things through their bloodline there in the open for a long time. And, they have they generally have that look to them. You can't always tell because they put the old lady on TV and she's old, and like all old people look the same. So, um, you know, you just like, she looks stupid because she's old, right? So you don't really look at that, but look at Prince Harry. He's got the broccoli, and the rest of the family. Charles looks like Le Rothschild, the Hebrew king, the modern Hebrew king that they celebrate yearly in their Rothschild parade in their land Hitler helped give them in the Middle East. And so he lives about, what, a mile or two north of the fires, not very far on the map. And I didn't even look it up, but I'm going to assume his house didn't burn down because he's so important. You know, we would know every time they fart, we talk about their bloodline, you know, a lot, just like their media for some reason only talks about us. Like, okay, so he moves over to LA and their media is constantly talking about LA, Kim Kardashian, all that. It's so weird. It's like if I was in the UK, why would I care about Kim Kardashian? Why would I promote any of that American stuff? You know, did you not have your own people, events? You once ruled the world through a global colonization. In fact, I've come to the acceptance that they still do. They pass the name off to look differently and stuff. I mean, we're gonna chase back these roots. We're gonna go through like 9 empires or something that we all have swept under the rug. You know, the snake has shed its skin repeatedly there, and it leaves behind the molt, and it claims it even leaves behind the molt because that's how it brags, to release its caramel. And so we have those people moving in about a mile, 2 miles north of there, and we have a whole bunch of commenters online talking about the benefits of the fire, which is, you know, there's been a change, and sometimes some people are seeing the benefits in certain things, but you know, the benefits of clearing out those houses so people can go to the beach, I don't think that's going to benefit normal people who waste their time online commenting, you know, maybe in Compton or something like that. You know, those places are pretty close to Beverly Hills. I mean, when I was down there, you just drove down the hills and I was in Compton and stuff. So, and you know, they're dark skinned. I'm not sure they would even allow them on the beach down there. But people are online talking about that either way. And you know, if you can even afford some beachfront property, you're not poor. I suppose anyone who can afford that is also smart enough to know you don't build houses on a beach. You know, it's like a frivolous toy. You know, I buy a sword and I actually use it, and I understand this is a frivolous toy. This is a waste of money. We're going to break the sword, okay? But I know that, you know, like if I buy boxing gloves, I might assume they're gonna get broke. You know, I know that it's an investment designed to be broken. Almost like a beach house, except for you probably don't purchase a beach house hoping it gets hit unless you're looking for an insurance payout, which is, I hear in some cases it can be pretty profitable and stuff to do things like that, but it's not. I mean, that's for someone else to look into if any of that's happening. But he moves out here, and now he's going to have a beach right beside his house. That's amazing. So, and they almost look related, the two of them. I mean, almost. There's not a whole lot of pale skins with the broccoli head, or is there? I don't know. There might be in America. I know a lot of Romans. Maybe everyone I've ever known. So, most of the people I remember in my life were Italian. So, I worked. Probably for more Italian places than anywhere. So I'm going to assume there's a whole lot of them here in America. In fact, that might be easy to assume if you just think that the empire building thing is a repeat pattern by the same people over and over. So, there's plenty of Italians here. I'm not even in New York and stuff. Just Italian places all over. I've worked at several of them. And I don't know how many other people. I don't know if Lex Wexner and Jeffrey Epstein identify directly as Italian, or they just identify as the people right south of Italian we're not allowed to talk about. Right south of Italy there, right south of Rome. So, and the people right north of the pyramid of the pharaohs and Pharisees and Sadducees location. So they're moving out there, and now they're going to have a beach to go play on. Imagine that. Like, there's apparently no actual beach out there on that side for the most part for people to play on. As you can see in those videos, there's houses all up and down there. California is a pretty packed place. So to the south anyways, I mean, it's not really, it's only packed in the south, and it's almost completely barren to the north. It's just a huge stretch of nothing there. I'm not sure why there's some sort of population problem there. It sounds more like a development problem, the people in charge of the government and zoning and stuff like that. I mean, the land has its hills and stuff, like Beverly Hills. That didn't stop them. That's a real dangerous place. But at the same time, that makes it a really nice fortress. Keep poor people out, because your car might just slide up and down the hill, or down the hill, if it doesn't have good tires trying to get up in there. Definitely, it's a good way to push you down the hill, and you wreck and die if they don't want you there. Like Michael Hastings, he didn't die exactly that way, but he did die right up there in the hills when they killed him. So that was my first thought when I went there. So I don't see why the mountains would get in the way of developing the businesses and housing to the north. I'm not sure what the problem is, why they have a state that's like 2/3 empty, but it has a huge population problem. It's probably got something to do with this area and stuff. They'd be like, oh, it's the Mexicans and these days. And then, back in the 80s, it was women went there to become prostitutes, or people went there to become actors. So a lot of people want to go move near Hollywood in LA. Supposedly in the 80s, people were saying that everyone's like, what was that called? Migration or something? Migrating to California because that's where all the hopes and dreams come from. And it doesn't make any sense to me because everything everyone told me about that, about California, would make me not want to go there. Not that it's a bad place when I actually get there. I mean, lots of crowding. Probably. I went there in 2020. I didn't get to see the world for what it was. Like, the roads were totally empty. Other than that, I would have spent probably, I would have got nowhere. I would have been stuck in traffic. I was in larger cities. I was in cities like as large as Philadelphia, and I know what that's like. And when the traffic's bad and stuff, like you're lucky if you're not from a city like that. You might lose your car real fast, not knowing how to drive in like 5 lane each side traffic that's packed and stuff like that. You know, in some places like Florida, the speed limit's like 90 miles per hour too, on top of the 5 lanes that's packed and things like that. But anyways, so I mean, people want to make up some sort of theories and stuff, and so I figure, why not post about that? So there we go. I mean, they just directly link to it and everything, and they seem to be linked to like everything. I mean, everyone across the world worships the religion of broccoli, so because I think because you're not allowed. I'm not sure. Has anyone ever like developed their own religion and see where it goes? Because I'm pretty sure you're just not allowed to have a religion that's not of the great broccoli. So the broccoli has cometh, and the broccoli can survive fire because broccoli is a moist plant. So there we go. No problem with that. Um, I mean, you're telling me the specific houses weren't being hit? How come there's no like real video of any of this stuff? How does this stuff happen? Are they hitting it with like space lasers and stuff? The broccoli heads are work really aliens from outer space or something, and that's how they enslave the entire planet and stuff. They've been using the technology for thousands of years to enslave people, and you're just now getting like little bits that the broccoli heads of Google and Facebook own. So um, that's it. That's it. I mean, that's not it, right? But there you go. Who's the largest players involved in this stuff or near this stuff that could be involved if there were anything positive or negative going on in the world? But there's never anything negative, as I'm always reminded. Um, Life's joyful and beautiful, and everything is great, and you gotta be positive. You gotta be positive. You gotta say you love everything, every female who comes into your life. You have to love, have sex with, or don't. Just feed them potato chips if that's all they want. And for the ladies out there, the same thing. Every man who comes into your life, you gotta love it. And you know what? Actually, if you're a female and you like females, same thing. If a female comes in, you gotta love it. You gotta be positive about everyone coming in your life. Everyone out there is helping you, and just doing so great for everyone else out there. That's the way we gotta think, because it's really your fault if there's something in the world going on, because you probably thought it up and invented it, right? Your neighbor gets raped, and your neighbor gets with a man that they have no business being with, and they just hate each other and fight all the time. That's probably your fault, right? So the New Age, I think that's the newest Abrahamic religion, or did I catch on to a new one coming out that I'm not thinking of? I think New Age is the newest one. It's like kind of an older idea, but it being pushed into the forefront. It seems like that post-dated Satanism. It seems to be around the 80s, maybe, or maybe before. I wasn't here till then. And the science started taking over as the main belief. Broccoli had Einstein and Sagan, and broccoli had Bill Nye. You know, um, Einstein. He's the guy who invented the bombs to kill those dirty non-broccoli heads over there in Japan. So he's done a lot for the country. He's developed a lot of fire. The broccoli heads are known for developing fire and burning down places for whatever reason. Why did they really burn down Japan? Why did they really burn down Germany? Um, so we don't know. I mean, how many times have those bombs been used since then? I don't even think he made them either, but he's broccoli. He's King Broccoli. So Einstein gets all the credit for stealing someone else's idea, just like King Broccoli Zuck and King Broccoli Bill Gates. And I want to say that I forget the name. Was it Edison had to do with inventing the film, and someone stole it from him, or he stole it? I forget it, but supposedly up there in Italy, I mean New York, um, they invented the recording thing, the modern. I don't know how that story even plays out. Maybe this is them in the process of changing it, because if I recall, Germany was the first one using video recording and stuff. So, but supposedly, one of them stole that idea and then ran to Hollywood with it, because they couldn't steal the patent and use it in New Italy, because that was against patent laws, and I guess patent laws didn't. The states were still 50 separate states in some ways back then. So for some reason, patent law didn't work. Anyways, they stole that and went down to California and started producing there with it. At least that's their story. That's the parts that they'll allow out. So we don't know exactly what. I always kind of assume they just stole it from Germany. I mean, they're always telling us that too. They're like, "Oh, America's working with the Nazis," and it's like, but no one's like explaining, who the Nazis are, who America is too. So no one's explaining that Hitler looked similar to broccoli, King Broccoli, and Goebbels looked like a big poof of broccoli. So, without that stuff, you really don't know. But I was assuming they were stealing tech from Germany, but it looks like they were also running Germany. Um, so you never know what the real story with the broccoli heads are. I mean, like you can see today, they're the Americans. It's someone else's Americans 300 years ago, and their story is they were Europeans before that, before they came over and changed to Americans. So they have this other story that they follow, that they've been following for 6,000 years, that they're from the Middle East. But they have this symbol they use that's from before the Middle East, which they say when they're in the Middle East, they were slaves to that group. So, I mean, who knows where the broccoli ends, right? So, um, I mean, a lot of times they talk about space and space aliens and broccoli head Elon Musk. He doesn't actually quite have the broccoli head. I'm not sure why that is. If he might be permanent, but he does have fake hair. I didn't actually look at younger pictures of him. I'm not sure if they existed or not, but I didn't look for him. I didn't do a broccoli check. I just did a parent check, and his dad didn't have the broccoli either, but he's old and rich. And so we don't know. We know he has hair plugs and all that, but I mean, you just look at him and you see the position he's in, and he does the same thing NASA does, deceive people, and he does this. He like talks about the broccoli, but then bans people if they talk about the broccoli. So I think it was bait for catching people who talk about the broccoli, and just like they run the Nazis and stuff. And I don't see the Nazis actually opposing things. They're always saying dumb stuff like, find yourself a nice woman and have some kids and don't masturbate. And what that does is, since you have broccoli, King Broccoli's children are going out like trying to be with everyone on the planet to make sure that there are no non-broccolis on the planet, because non-broccolis are a problem. And broccoli doesn't grow as much as it can if carrots are near or something like that. If carrots are taking up land somewhere, God has demanded that broccoli must be planted there instead, apparently. So, yep, pretty pretty odd links, and they look similar too. On top of that, it's almost rare for the broccoli to have the orange hair and stuff. I'm not sure where that comes from exactly, but I mean, just looking at this dude and looking at his pal, that girl who runs the water, the governor or whatever of California. Yeah, she she's CEO and chief engineer of the Department of Water and Power. So they look related too. They look a lot like those Roman statues of the great Roman leaders. But this right here makes me think of the stories of Rome. Because what happened in Rome? Well, in Rome, supposedly the broccoli heads were starting fires about 100 years before Rome was gone. Before Rome was taken off of world power. Apparently, Rome was never gone. It just kind of slipped at West Rome, kind of like California, just kind of slipped away into the background then. I mean, I personally think they obviously moved up north here to UK and formed this. Isn't that odd? Because I had already figured that out. And But now I'm realizing, like, yeah, Broccoli, King Broccoli here, looks pretty much like those Roman statues. I'm not sure if he's jacked or not. I think he might be one of the only. I seen Obama in a gym. That might have been like a press thing. I think he might have been the one who actually um, does like work out. So I don't know, and I don't care. He's a guy, and I don't even care if it's a woman if I'm not worried about it. If it's not of importance to me. So I don't know what his body looks like, but his face looks very much like those Italy statues of the Roman leaders, the people who were going around colonizing the world. And so we have that like that just falls in line directly with like I didn't look that up like oh do the UK leaders look like the Roman statues? No, I just put it together that oh this is clearly the path that a group has been taken in order to pick up all the symbols they have across the world. You can kind of trace trails back to people like me. If you go outside looking for hair ties on the ground, I noticed this during my walks. If you go outside looking for hair ties, you can probably find where I go. And if I ever need a hair tie, I can just bend over and pick up one if I'm outside. So, just like that, I'm looking at these trails left behind of broccoli. I'm not sure where it ends and all. I mean, they talk about the alien thing so much, but they also talk about Bigfoot and they talk about work and they talk about loving and caring and understanding and all these other alien technologies they've invented or whatever. They actually have, like, I've never seen a space shuttle. Um, I do know that since like the 80s, David Copperfield was supposedly deceiving people, like with the help of tons of other people, a fake magician. That's not new. That Chris Angel or whoever he is, who you can see the videos of where they're just it's edited video and he's not really doing magic, and you can see the video where they're setting it up and they're paying people to be like, wow, that's great, that's amazing. So David Copperfield did that to the Statue of Liberty in the 80s or early 90s. And supposedly that required everyone. Like, I mean, that's a kind of a big statue. A lot of people would have seen that. And then when people would have seen a couple people looking over towards the island that the Statue of Liberty's on, you've seen the helicopters flying around and stuff, and you're not allowed to fly around statues like that. I'm pretty sure there's ordinances against flying too close to buildings and stuff and important monuments with helicopters. So a few helicopters also would have drawn more attention. And I mean, just the whole press and media and recording crew for such a large event. And it wasn't just like a recording. It was like a live magic show. It wasn't your standard Chris Angel scamming people using fake videos and going to meet like 100 people, 100 people on the block and cordoning off all the streets so no one else who wasn't being paid could come in and see it and rat them out for it. It was they used to have large magic specials, like they have concerts, like they probably still have them too, like plays and theaters, so this was like a David Copperfield special. I think this is his last special. So I mean, he was real big and stuff. Magic was kind of like big back then. It was one of the things people did, like football and all that stuff. It was pretty big. So lots of people would have known that, but yet we never really heard about it was fake. Supposedly it was fake, and he didn't actually make it disappear, but thanks to TV and all that stuff. So we don't know um, what they're up to, but we do know they like to lie about that stuff. And I mean, one of the first things they do in war is to go destroy people's libraries and religious buildings, because the religions are racial cultural groups, and some of them might actually store things of value. I mean, we might argue that religion is stronger than the government. It seems to be the same people, and it's like the shadow government, which had, I would assume if George Soros wasn't doing what he does, he might be like his other broccoli head friend, Joel Osteen. He might end up just being a preacher and stuff. How else would Jeffrey Epstein get little kids? If he wasn't like a military strategist going around blackmailing people in the club. I mean, they're probably related, but you blackmail each other, right, to make sure that no one ever talks about the club or something. Like, you can see Donald Trump. I don't think they were actually coming after him because his family's like very broccoli. But actually, the Clinton's daughter, before all of her work and hair straightening and facial work and hair straightening, looked even more broccoli than the Clintons. Are real close to these people. Their daughter looked like those two people had a kid. In fact, it looks like the girl when she was a kid. Now, since then, she and Ivanka obviously had plastic surgery around the age of 14 or so. And so, hey, a little side note there, if you ever wonder what happened to America, you go online and you see people with the weird duck lips and their faces all deformed, and because they wanted to look hot and sexy, and someone told them that's hot and sexy. Well, that's where that comes from, is Marilyn Monroe. Like, I used to be like, why do these old women wear these stupid hairdos? They get these perms and stuff, and then their hair is all like this and stuff, and they're like, yeah, baby, that's so hot now. And it's like, and in reality, because everyone was doing that, like, you had to choose Marilyn Monroe and stuff. Madonna is another fun example, and she's always talking about the Kabbalah. So, I mean, you don't have to look at her, but it helps cover it up. You can see, like, with Marilyn Monroe, Madonna, and Lady Gaga. I'm sure Zsa Zsa Gabor was real heavy in the hair straightening. At least she got that part worked out, right? But Lady Gaga and Marilyn Monroe and the other one, they look like those people, but they just go like this, and then it covers up their face so you can't see it and stuff. And then they also, like, Marilyn Monroe was involved in starting to get your molars removed to try to sink in your jawline, because they have they tend to have a wider lower mandible. So apparently they're trying to get rid of that. But I gotta break the news, and I hate to inform you guys that I think that's wasteful, because it doesn't work. my teeth, that my gums actually swelled up, and my mouth. I don't have the Harvey Weinstein jaw, so um, it doesn't even matter. Like, my bones are up here pulling my skin out. It has nothing to do with my teeth pushing out my face or pulling it in. My teeth are like way, and my jaw is way in here. So it's got everything to do with this. So I guess you might be ahead of me on that. I haven't heard any talk of it, but I'm sure shaving down the bones here is. Did I just give them an idea? Oh no. Oh no. They're going to start shaving their bones. They already do that though. Isn't that what, like a, you got your nose job. That's just cartilage reduction, right? But I mean, they're the ones advertising all that stuff too. So if you ever want to, if anyone ever questions, I'm sure that all the internet will get deleted and stuff. There'll be a great war, and then all the people will learn to act right, be slaves, just like they always have. I mean, there's always a great war. It's just there's times where the broccoli structure, the pyramid structure, like wherever that is located, they don't want war in that area. Like if they're trying to build a new pyramid, which they just did. I think that was like Texas. I seen the pyramid in when I was driving through there. I forget, but someone can look that up if they really care. I forget. But they did. They built the best pyramid they've built so far out towards the west. So there we have it. We have broccoli moving north of the fires a few weeks or months ago, something like that. And it was a while back. And I think I should look that up and confirm for the video, right? I think it was like a year ago or something. No, it was 4 years ago, my bad. So he was already there. And his girl is from there. So anyways, there we go. No need to draw this out any further. I mean, we got 800,000 hours, don't we? So we can draw it out. We got a few 100,000 hours left. And well, I turned to the Broccoli Head Own News, and they bring on some people who kind of look like broccoli heads to tell me the narrative, and so I made the video. And obviously I really trust the media, because definitely feel like a fool going to do all the stuff I've done in my life after seeing it. It's all fake and staged. So yeah, definitely trust the media, and that's why I spent years like going to crash media events, right? As definitely not to go there and document it and ask everyone what they're up to and what they're doing, why they're doing it that way, like I posted videos of me doing, right? So I always trust them, I always trust the narrative. I wasn't even going to post it, but it's just like, well, yeah. Got in a bad mood. I'm like, fuck the broccoli. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of things that have been going on, so can't kind of ignore it. Not sure to what extent that's been going on, but once you, I'm not going to be able to forget that catching people kidnapping me and the other people I'm with in order to separate us, and it seems to be, it depends on what they look like or what race they are. If they're not broccoli, I'm not sure. It seems like that might be a problem. So, if that hadn't happened, then I probably wouldn't really worry about anything anymore. But that happened, and I was wondering if that played a role with the other 100 people I met in my life who often magically disappeared or magically never showed up, magically weren't there, or I didn't dislike them, at least some of them. So, I have that, like, kind of backing up this theory that that was happening long before I set the bait to catch it happening. And, you know, I don't know how you'd feel, but I know for me personally, after 40 years of being on Earth and testing what's going on and when I'm testing to see if I'm allowed to talk to people who don't look like everyone who's been in my life, broccoli heads mostly, then, a little bit upset there when I find out that broccoli heads will come and kidnap me and the person I'm dancing with if I try to talk to someone and make a new friend, or the persons. I didn't get really to see what was going on. I was being like pulled away. Not the first time. The broccoli heads are always there to pull me away from something. When I have a plan, this is not even just me trying to be friends with European males or trying to dance with some African girls or Asian girl trying to talk to me because she thinks we have stuff in common. Because, well, she knows that because she watched me do it. She expressed that. So, yeah, and then there's a lot of other times, it's a little bit upset about all that. Kind of like I consider that like taking my entire life from me. Oh yeah, I was running for president too. One of the times that they kidnapped and removed me from the situation, in which the pigs in this fucking city sat around and like let them do it. Like, was watching them, and they're just standing here guarding their broken windows, and it's just like me and her at this point, and I'm like, hey, do you see this? She's like kidnapping me. She's like assaulting me. And they're just like, hey, we're guarding broken windows. The broccoli head's windows are more important than your life and your job. I'm literally like running for president. So the pigs in Columbus are like, broken windows are more important than guarding president. Well, thank God I run for world leader too, because I kind of knew I'm going to have to crush this fucking place. So I nipped that in the bud by also choosing to run for world leader at the same time. But it was interesting how those events all unfolded. It's like, I made the right decision. It's like I was never just being hostile to be hostile. I was never planning to have to fucking come down from above America in order to have any sort of job or anything here. So there we go. I mean, this is a world leader. This is a world leader right here burning down the place. So, I'm sorry. I'm blaming them for something we have no proof of. It just, supposedly they like shut off the water and all that stuff, and the fires are fake or something. Since it's hard to sort out when you're out there watching the stuff what level of fake it is. But when you're out there watching it, you know it's fake. And it was like I went looking for the fires in 2020 when I was out there. Around the same time he moved out there. That would have been really good cover. I mean, the fires are like every year, though, right? Something that's. I do look at the media now and I see it saying stuff about the past that's not true. Like they're saying, oh, the hottest record on temps, except for 6 years ago. And it's like, yeah, we never had a drought out here and hot temps all year long, all summer long. We never had that, but I'm going to assume our media was just like, whatever. Like, whenever I caught the media, it wasn't talking about, oh, look at the grass. Why is the grass all dead? Like, it's pretty weird. Like, the grass is still dead outside right now. It's just under snow. So, it's still like orange, yellow grass, which we never had. But the media hasn't even been talking about that. Like, this is like the oddest thing. I walk out there every day. I mean, even if you're blind, you would know because you walk and the grass starts crunching beneath your feet, and it never does that. So, who knows? But anyways, he moved out there around that time. I was out there, and there's supposedly fires everywhere. And look up at the sky. I'm traveling beside the ocean on the road. These houses burnt on the freeway. It goes pretty much all the way up. It's one of two roads that you can get in and out of what do they call the Northwest? The upper Northwest, whatever they call it. Anyways, yeah, so I was traveling on that road and then looking out over the ocean and then looking out towards the city in every other direction. The sky's all red, like orange, rusty red. And I remember saying, that's really weird that there's fire out there in the ocean for the sky to be reflecting fire. And like way out there. Supposedly you can only see a few miles, but I don't know about that one. That's pretty far away to me, especially because I'm not looking at the ground 2 miles away. I'm looking at space 2 miles, way far away. And it's just all this solid red. It's all this solid red, as if there's some sort of. It's not like there's a mirror. It looked fake. It looked fake. It was like this one red color. There wasn't any flickering, any variance in it. It didn't get a little bit lighter up here. And you know what? I couldn't finish my traveling and notice where it ended, largely because I was real paranoid, because I was pretty sure I was being followed. And well, I was being followed somehow, but I think like actual vehicles and stuff. Some of them were playing with me even. People showed up where I did. They sent some kids to put food on my car at one place. And that was the only time I think in my life where I was like, nah, I'm not going to eat anything. You're probably trying to poison me. Generally, I'd just be like, yeah, you're trying to poison me. Let's die. But, yeah, so I didn't get to see the sky change either because I, stopped paying attention. But I think it's because by the time I was getting up there, it was night. I think I stopped at a store out there and one of the broccoli heads started causing me problems. So I had to deal with the cops there with and of course the cops are they sent the broccoli head out. They got the broccoli star and stuff. You know, the first stop after the pyramids. The star is just two pyramids. So, I mean, it's not even. The only thing they're trying to hide there is they're always like the victims. They were enslaved. Like these people making all this money and stuff. Like the King of England, you know, he's a slave. He's being oppressed and all that stuff all the time. I mean, you guys are just trash, fucking. That's all I ever hear from people is, you know, King of England looks like a doofus. And do you see the King of England today? It looks so silly. He looks like a real cunt lapper. Man, that's all I ever hear. Elon Musk, everyone's like, oh, he's stupid. Einstein, everyone's always like, that's the biggest moron in the world. That's why everyone knows Einstein, because he's the biggest moron in the world. You know, they're just so oppressed. Just like David Copperfield. The only reason anyone knows him is because he was so piss poor at magic that people laughed at him. And, you know, he wasn't even bad at magic, but they are oppressing him. They oppressing the broccoli. And so, you know what? Someone's probably just making all this stuff up. This is probably all fake. He probably didn't move out there near the beach. And she probably doesn't even run the government. Who is it? It's the Swedish people. Swedish people run and own everything. That's what I was always taught. Yeah, damn Swedes and stuff. And people from Greenland, apparently Trump's after Greenland now, so it's probably those people in Greenland and stuff. They'll find it. They'll find out someday who it is. They'll find it was Satan, you know, a few thousand years ago, and then it was oppressive Egyptian rulers. Oh yeah. Well, if we're gonna go that far, we already just went straight back to the first lie. So there we have, well, the world leaders are being oppressed by you guys. You guys are out there starting fires. You guys probably are trying to burn down his house, right? But you missed, didn't you? Did Harry's house burn down? Oh. Oh, he did lose his house. Imagine that. Maybe I should have looked that up first. But I figured that oh. Did Prince Harry have insurance? Yes, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle likely have insurance. Likely. It is greatest AI ever. Well, there you go. Imagine that. I wasn't even thinking of or discussing insurance fraud. And we have the bankers. We have the bankers moving out there. Although one might think that maybe the Broccolis are at war with each other because they always act like, I mean, they write the Satanic Bible and they write all 75,000 different versions of the Christian Bible. They write the 62,000 versions of the Catholic Bible. If there is different ones, I don't know about I don't know every single thing about every single one of their cults. If I did, like they suggest I should know, then I'd be brain dead and I wouldn't know how to operate a computer or play guitar or play drums or kind of play piano or sing or write lyrics, ride bikes, do martial arts, do tons of different martial arts, lift weights properly. I wouldn't know about food. I wouldn't know about. Damn, where does the list even end? I, I don't know about how to bait a kid to have sex. Let's just say what I don't know. I don't know about. Um, I don't know which romance novels are the best romance novels to read. So there we go. Um, if I would learn every single thing, apparently it might be easy to see I've learned too much already. So if I knew everything about Catholicism, my brain would just be more full of shit than it already is. Just it seems to be. I mean, the Broccoli's brought literacy to us. That's where literacy comes from, is the Bible being passed around. Technically, the Broccoli's brought us literacy by writing on. Well, I can't say for sure the Broccoli's actually did that. They're not willing to take credit for anything during the Egyptian period, but they willingly use that pyramid there as their sign. And two of them create the base star foundation of the Abrahamic it's trilogy, right? Because it's Muslims, Christians, Satanists, but we also have Catholics, and who knows, those 999,000 other Christian denominations might argue that they're completely different and they're not part of it, just like a Satanist and an atheist does. So yeah, oh yeah, we got atheists. Oh, and New Age. So we got so it's like a what is it, sextuplet, quintuplet, and then what's after that? Oh, I forget. I've looked this up before, but so you have they own Christianity. They run Christianity, Catholicism, atheism, because that's scientism. I'm including those as one thing. In fact, that might be two separate things. So that's 8 things, because not all atheists have to believe in science, right? So not all scientists have to believe in atheism, but you're still going to worship King Rothschild Stein if you're a science person. Now, Scientology, it's weird how they've created that, yet there's already a science cult, and it's just called science. And mostly it's called atheist. But the science cult, the Scientology people, we might assume is one of them. Because what does Ron L. Hubbard look like? He looks like Broccoli Head here. There we go. Let's get some, you see? He looks like Larry Flint from Hustler. So he's got that orange hair like him. And his face looks kind of similar to it. So yeah, you could just assume from his looks that Scientology is Abrahamicism. And it could be them releasing their caramel because they talk about aliens controlling the earth. And technically, if there is, if you believe in the Bible, I don't think people do, but it talks about other species, angels and demons and gods, especially gods, would be different species. Like if they have all this power, and unless humans have the same power, and I'm telling you, there's definitely some here that looks like it's not alive, like those news reporters when they all sync together and say the same thing across thousands of miles of space and stuff. That just happens to bring up a pyramid when I'm talking about, when I bring up Scientology. But anyway, so we have Scientology. Let's just chalk it up because he looks like Larry Flynn. He looks pretty broccoli. He just got, he might have a perm. I mean, as you probably can't see, but this dude definitely has a perm going on there. Something. I'm not sure why. I mean, I knew, like, Marilyn Monroe in Hollywood brought forth this whole, it was like the early 1900s. Like, everyone was like, oh, yeah, I'd shoot, fucking, this is fire. And bitches be like, yeah, man, I is so sexy now. I'm gonna get my hair done and then put on some jeans. Gonna start wearing jeans too. Since women ain't supposed to wear jeans, I'm gonna be a rebel. That way people can see my droopy white mom and my droopy white girl ass. Fucking hell yeah, bro. Put on some jeans and then get me a wife beater t-shirt and walk around like this. Just like Marilyn Monroe. So I don't understand what's up with that, but that's a bad idea. That was a bad choice. I was always like, why do they look so stupid? It's like they're purposely making themselves look stupid. And then I learned about the broccoli. So, and I was like, oh, the broccoli. It's like, why do they make this so stupid and duck lips and them cancer injections and shit like that? And it's like, oh, they trying to trim the broccoli. Oh, okay. So, anyways, so just chalk it up, Ron L. Hubbard. I mean, because does anyone have any proof that anyone else is allowed to have a thought or do anything? Yeah, Ron L. Hubbard, he's talking about space aliens and stuff controlling the Earth, which you might know. I mean, they got the Scientology. You just pull up in the Beverly Hills and Scientology's on the left and the Masonic temple's on the right. It's what happens right when you drive up in the Beverly Hills. Scientology compound on the left. Wasn't near as much a compound as the Masonic temple. That had motorized gates and everything, but a lot of places up there do. I mean, it's a real rich, fancy place surrounded by Compton and other unwanted people. And it's like it's like so storybook, like to go out there and know this is like the real rich people. It's like have all the money, and then like looking down the hill, you just have like the poorest ghettos America's never seen before, full of gang violence and shit. It's literally like a page from a history book. It's like kind of what you would expect if you have, if you own a plantation and you live in your house and your slaves are surrounding your nice fancy mansion, and they've got their little straw mud huts or something they live in, and they're running around, half naked because they can't even afford clothes, and it's what that's like. Though you got the Scientology right there on the left, the Masonic temple right there on the right. The second you drive in, it's like a welcome show, like a welcome sign or something. So, hey, I guess I was wrong there in assuming that his house didn't burn down, but he's probably one of the few people who had insurance. I notice lots of people are saying that because technically that's not like you're not very bright if you buy a house out there and you can't afford other houses because water could come up and damage your house, and these fires supposedly have been going on for hundreds of years, but I haven't been there to confirm that. They've talked about them for years. But there we have. Well, we got the Broccolis and stuff. And, man, that's where that bad hair come from. I was always like, damn, why is old people so disgusting looking and stuff? Like they're purposely doing it, you know? I'm not insulting people who might not look appealing to some people. Like, and um, I'm, I mean, Rothschild looks great to someone, right? Like, I mean, they say it's from interbreeding, and they would know, wouldn't they? They look to be doing it, but it's not about that. It's that old people purposely they go to the salon for like 2 hours so they can come out looking stupid and unattractive. Now, if you're having a problem with too many men hitting on you, that's great. It's a good idea. That's why I make videos like not caring about how I look and purposely looking bad in some of them because I don't care and I'm purposely doing that. So it's like if I do that, like so you know, I do that, but uh, these people legit would be coming out of the fucking place uh, thinking that they're hot shit, and they be looking like those people on TV, like this dude right here with Scientology. He'd be like, "Oh, that's some hot shit, bro. I was gonna get all the women's and shit, man. I'll tell you what, bro. You know what really works? You get to do this. Hold up, hold up. I didn't stick any in my ear yet. Uh, got to get me a coat hanger so I can like stick it in my ear and pull it out the other ear. To have women be like, "Oh shit, bro, it's David Copperfield. He's a fucking magician and shit." But I figures, you know, this could be the new next look uh, they can use that way. You know, check that out, dude. Shit. Bro, we is already fucking looking like Lawrence from Arabia. Bro. Bro. Already, we were ready to travel in the Middle East and everything and conquer some lands and shit. Hold up. We ain't quite done yet. I gotta do the one last finishing touch. There we go. Oh, it came out. There we go. There we go. How's that? You fucking. Oh, look, that's like the emo version of Lawrence from Arabia. Hell yeah, bro. Her actually looks similar to that, just I have long hair. Like, just see how complicated that is to look that stupid. They'd be walking out of the like when I was a kid, I thought everyone was crazy, and now I know they're crazy and shit. But I know why this is being done because they began trying to modify the human race probably thousands of years ago, right? They're like drugging us. They're saying it's for to help people focus and stuff. Yeah, that's the Abrahamic science cult that it mutilates children and plays with their wieners and makes that a law and that every must be done to every newborn males only because females don't aren't born with sex of hair like that and sex of faces and sex of penises. So no one wants those people around. None of these nations. But man, that's crazy, dude. And it turns out to be they look that stupid because they're trying to like the Hollywood people are trying to make people like cover up their looks and look a certain way and shit. And they want to do that and they want people to accept that. Like, okay, so we've been mutilating children for 6,000 years and they just started the sex change thing now, and people are like, oh, genital mutilation is new. I'm like, no. And all the look changing going on with that, with, getting your eyebrows, your forehead shaved down, the bones shaved down, things like that. I mean, I'm not even against it, I want to just get my skin removed completely. But I really, I'm thinking about getting some molten lava, magma rock, fucking, just replace everything, dude. You know, get some titanium bones underneath the magma, molten flesh. Hell yeah, bro. Like, that would actually look cool, though. You know what I'm saying? People would be like, wow, he spent a lot of time doing that, and that shit looks fire. You couldn't argue that that's going to look fire. There you go, bro. You can't even say it doesn't look fire because you would be inaccurate. But these people, that ain't fire, man. They ain't white dudes getting their hair permed. It's not fire. To look like a fucking bowl. I think that was called a bowl cut. I had that. That's why I was either. That was right. The reason why I went shaved head, and then it was like, let's try long hair instead, because we ain't going to do that. And I was always like, yeah, why are they doing that? The old people be all like, yeah, I was looking sexy. I just spent all that money at this Stoughton. I'm going to go home and watch me some TV, and so them sexy men on TV can see how sexy I am. Let me get a crack pipe. Just stick that crack pipe right between these teeth right here. And they be knowing, get a gold crack pipe too, so they think I'm rich. I wonder who does the most crack in the world. Could it be L.A.? Charlie Sheen, anyone? Yeah, I'm just making fun of people and calling people names, aren't I? That's all I ever do is make fun of people and call people names, because I love wasting my life. I love wasting my time, and I love being forced to have my time wasted. And I love listening to people tell me they're gonna go get like 2 hours of work done, so they can look like Marilyn Monroe. Before, Marilyn Monroe was trying to push the idea that what she looked like before was acceptable, and she had to like dumb it down in order to do the gradual thing. Like, they went gradually from playing with baby penises for God for 6,000 years ago to today, removing penises or attaching. Mostly it's about attaching penises to people, but we don't hear about that. We only hear about the girls they sell for sex slaves. We don't hear about the boys. In a nation that only mutilates and touches newborn males, we only hear about Epstein and not the boys. Maxwell was probably grooming, right? Because I've always assumed, they're very, I meet a lot of people, and we're kind of the nation. I'm in the city that started it, and the city, accepting that and all that, which is fine, to not go around killing people who are gay, like some of my friends used to do. But they just promote it to such a level now that they're, they went from removing the teeth to chopping up the genitals and the face to turn men into women and women into men. So they got like a history here of changing looks around and stuff like that, and it doesn't seem to be very good. It seems to be, obviously Marilyn Monroe didn't start it. That was started. Think of when they wore the bird masks and dog masks when they ran Egypt. Not that guy specifically, although he does look close to him. Um, that's Larry Anderson. And Larry, I mean, the dude of Scientology he's working for, I said he looks exactly like I said he looks like Larry Flint, Hustler. So that's weird. It's weird. The dude he works with, um, like the indoctrination guy, like maybe second in command or something like that. Name is Larry, and another dude looks like a Larry, so probably is related to him. I mean, if you're that high up in the church, there's a reason why the Pope looks like George Soros, right? There's a good reason for that, because George Soros brags he's from the people who say they were enslaved by the Egyptians, but worship the pyramid, and say they're enslaved. I mean, George Soros, and Haim Saban are being oppressed. Haim Saban created Power Rangers and all that stuff, or at least produced it, which means he likely just told other people to go do it. But so there we have it. That's right up in there, and you drive up in Beverly Hills, and you got your places there, and you got the whole place surrounded by poor people. Now all these people online are talking about the beaches and stuff like that being cleared up and free, and that's kind of odd that normal people would be talking about that, because normally normal people are like crying as long as they can about anything that happens. They stub their toe, back in 1982 on July 17th. It was a rainy, windy, cold night while they were sitting in their recliner watching Matlock episode 2 of season 4. And Matlock was just going into the courtroom, and he had forgot his briefcase. And then the dog came by and stepped on my damn toe. You know that, because they're still talking about that 40 years later. They're not talking about, well, hey, that was a great thing that story never changed. They're never like, well, after the dog stepped on my toe, I became crippled because I lost my foot, and ever since then I've been able to sit down and watch TV all day without people telling me I'm lazy. So the story never changes. And then it's kind of weird that all of a sudden recently we got some different stories coming out, some opposed. I always, they're always the one telling me to be positive, and I'm always the one looking at things generally like it's like there could be some positivity. People, like I had some proselyters on the street the other day tell me, but we're talking about Black Lives Matter and stuff, and I'm just trying to stay focused on freedom and not being down where I'm at, because I just had people in Columbus band together to try to kill me, and the government's trying to play games about it. And he's like, but they're supposed to be slaves, and I'm trying to be positive. Like, they don't have to be slaves now, do they? Like, it probably works better if people are free to do things. What did you guys create them in the lab and you guys aren't telling me about it? These are like some robots you guys created a long time ago to serve people, or what do you guys know that you're not telling me about why the Bible said slavery was okay too? Think of that. How the people using the pyramid are the ones running all the the Scientology, the atheism, the Catholicism, the Christianity, the Muslim, probably. I can't look into it if I can't read the language, but is water blue unless you're in Ohio, unless you're at the Ohio River? Yes, it's normally blue or clear. It's reflecting, right? Is that the correct thing? I mean, water. Okay, so that's a bad thing. Is the sky normally blue with some white clouds? Yeah, normally it is. So let's just assume. Is there something that's constant all the time? Grass. Is grass now? I mean, there's other grass, but I don't know if there's any other thing here, right? Is there any other constant on this earth other than all the schools of thought and religion are controlled by one group? I don't know about Buddhism, but I do know, like, pretty much if any of these things start going into some hogwash, it's hogwashers making the story. And who are the hogwashers? Or who are the hogs who need washed? Well, it's bad because they think that would be everyone else, I guess. Scientology, Catholicism, Muslimism, atheism, blah, 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 blah. And they're running all this stuff. So I'm just going to assume. And I missed that Bible thing, so it wasn't a Bible thing so much, but it was an Italy thing. When Italy collapsed, I ended on saying that it was West Rome that continued existing, and then I went off into how that, they're always saying they stopped ruling the world and then moved on. And then someone conquered those people, and that just happens to be them. Every time they keep conquering themselves. So it's what happened is like 100 years, I think, after Jesus died. Was it? I don't know the stories here, timeline exactly tied together, but I know like 100 years before the empire fell, people had supposedly started fires and stuff, and it was written. It was the Italians. It was written. It was the Pharaoh people themselves, So, but looking at the statues of the Roman people, we see people who look like the mayor here. It looks like a Roman statue, don't it? Take away the brown hair, because I don't know about you, but most things I see portray Romans as blonde hair people. So look, is that even a girl? Look, take the hair away. Looks like a Roman statue to me. Maybe Emperor Palpatine or something like that. But yeah, that's another thing you can tell about the Broccoli's is they tend to look the same. They say that's from interbreeding. They're like the Rothschild are severely deformed, and people say that's because they've been interbreeding. Which also, who else does the interbreeding here? The little Prince Harry did. Supposedly their people went through periods of interbreeding, so that's odd. All these people doing all these things, all these people interbreeding, look the same. Like every different group that they're telling me is interbreeding looks like similar. Looks like they're the same family interbreeding, but the people telling me they're different groups, the people who own that media, also look similar to those people that they're telling me are interbreeding, but they're telling me they have nothing in common. The only thing I can think of is there's this one meme online where it shows some Brits who have some kind of deformed faces, some kids, and It's I think I mean their teeth is just messed up. But the Brits, hello, Bing Bong. Where do you think this Prince Harry guy, Broccoli Head, comes from? And but their media, which all works together and talks about the same stuff, and is owned by Rothschild. That's AP. Almost all media, uh, almost all real media, the fake news and the non-fake news seems to be controlled by people who look the same. Even Rupert Murdoch mentioned that because I guess they got to do the caramel thing. That's what they always say. They got to release the caramel and talk in the open one little time. But he never said I am. He just said they own the media. And I don't know if that it was supposed to include him, but it does look suspect. And other people not owning anything kind of defaults to that. It's like the next religion belief set that comes up to me. I'm not going to be like, oh, this is a nice African religion. Technically, where is the pyramids where they come from? Like, is that their first stop on Earth? Maybe it is an African religion at the end of the day. Technically it is. It's not Middle Eastern because that's incorrect geography. It is African. Yeah. Egyptians are Africans, right? So that's just. It almost seems like they say that's a form of ignorance to not know that, but it seems like these people would want you to think that that's not part of the Middle East because you might relate that Middle Eastern religion to the new Middle Eastern religions everyone worships. So I could see them purposefully doing that, like they purposely drug kids and the Broccoli Heads come up to kids in school and tell them to stop doing art because dragons are Satan or evil or something like that. Literally, probably people just knowing they're talking to their enemy. And before I even knew I had enemies and stuff, and had enemies of my own. I mean, this has been going on a long time, and I've watched the patterns, so. I mean, it was born into it. You don't even have to be an enemy. You could be their best friend, and they'll still rape and kill you. That's like that's pedophilia circumcision thing. They don't even have to have a reason to burn down the city. They would just do it. Hey, I could that right there. I can't disagree with. Like, go ahead and skedaddle on out of LA and stuff, right? So it looks real suspect. Just drive over there and see it. It feels weird to go around and see that stuff. So like the rich people on top of the hill, and that's where that phrase comes from. Is I'm pretty sure throughout history they decide to build on top of hills because it's a fortified defensive position. At least it kind of depends on your age and your capability, like the age you live in. Like in medieval times when there's no fighter jets and no sniper rifles, living on a hill definitely has its benefits because you don't have to worry about things coming from the sky, and all you gotta worry about is things coming from down below. Nothing on the even level, things like that. It really feels like that too. There's other areas around that area too where like the roads are designed just to be horrible. You gotta drive through it at like a mile or 2 miles per hour because it's also because of the hills. It has to be built differently because it's just so uneven. You can't just make a straight thing up it. I mean, you could just clear some land and make a straight road, but it looks like they purposely created a lot of twisty roads to make it so you can't rob people in those areas. I was literally going like a mile or 2 miles per hour and having to stop on some roads out there because they're just so tight, and there's like a little one lane heading off back into this one area. I remember it was just so tight that and twisty, like I had to go like a mile per hour and like still take my time on top of that because I'd never seen a road like that before. But it was definitely like, rich people on top of the hill surrounded by poor gangbangers and shit, as they would call them. And it definitely felt designed that way. It took a hell of a lot of time when I got down there, and I would get lost in some of those areas, and I don't get lost very much, but can't look at the GPS while I'm on some road with a turn every 20 feet. A 180 turn every 20 feet. I can't look at my GPS on that, and I can't see really through everything. So anyways, ending this, but there we go. We got their people in control of everything as usual, and he probably just got real paid off that. So he was probably one of the few people with insurance. Anyways, figure I'd put that out. It was it's a standard, and don't know if the world will ever change, because I don't think it'll matter for me. I don't even know if other people care. Like, they lived through it and let it go, and like they participate. They are doing it. It's not him doing it. He doesn't do any work. Prince Harry doesn't do any work. I mean, he probably spent a lot of time picking a house in a nice insurance settlement, and that will probably be used to not implicate him in the fire. That will be used to be like, oh, Prince Harry lost his house, so it's got nothing to do. Which, oddly, he looks like the girl behind that other thing. So in your mind, you might look at her and put that image next to the image of a poor innocent victim of the fire. They have this history here of being, I told you, they got this history of being oppressed. They're the Egyptian rulers, and they write a book saying they were the slaves in Egypt. So people worship the new one because they were obviously tired of the Egyptians enslaving them. I'm not sure what happened, and then they write slave manuals for that one, for all that groups below it, and the slave manual says, oh, they're poor and oppressed, we are poor and oppressed, give us all your money. So everyone goes and dies and steals land for them all across the world because everyone feels so sorry for them. Actually, I don't know what it is, but I think they worship them as gods or something. Like, I mean, they do, right? But I think mentally, like, there's a difference between, like, worshiping a god and be like, oh, my God. Oh, I'm so obsessed. There's a huge difference between worshiping someone, like, literally, and being obsessed. Like, psycho shit is, like, a little bit above worshiping someone. Like, where I can go to church and be like, hey God, I love you, see you later, or I can be like, oh my, Oh God, I gotta find you where you at, man. Oh my God, where you at? I got to drop all my food, everything right now and find you and stuff. Oh yeah, where you at? Where you at? I ain't got no time for all that. We gotta go. Oh, the kids at school, they can stay there. I ain't got time for that. I gotta find out. Yeah, it's like a huge difference there. I'm not sure what's going on in people's heads, but they they like obsess over them and shit, like more than worship them. I'm gonna kill you if you take God away from me, or I just like I'd rather not. You take God away from me, you know. It's like I'm gonna kill you if you take a second away from me while I'm trying to find God. Oh, this guy on TV is so great. Oh, Charlie Sheen is fucking amazing. You're running your mouth over here, running your mouth. Charlie Sheen is talking on TV. It's a huge difference, and I don't think normal people would even worship though if these people weren't commanding people to go around and be like, hey, I'm obsessed with this race. We got to go kill and fight for them. So there we have it. The eternal victims moved into the neighborhood, got an insurance policy, most likely, and then their house burnt down. While his look-alike is running the water company that kind of sort of shut off the water. They neglected to have the water on. So there we go. We got the usual suspects. Was that hard to guess by now? I'm sure someday there'll be someone who doesn't look like them, who are allowed to speak words or have thoughts and do things. Yeah, lots of hope for that. It's been, over half the time I've been here, and so far I just had people band together and try to kill me, a few months ago. And right after that, people came up to me and were telling me that some people are supposed to be slaves and I have to worship them as God. So, we're almost halfway through with this life. We're over halfway through with this life. Possibly. Oh my God, that would suck if not, right? Fuck. That would suck to live to be like hundreds of years old. Those people just be sitting there like in their chair all alone in their house watching Jerry Springer reruns for decades. I don't know about that. I don't know about that, son, but I haven't really seen a change. I've seen weird things happen, and but they're just like rearranging the chairs. So yeah, I should make the video positive. Like, we gonna fight. I don't think I can say anything positive about them, can I? Like, like positive about fighting them. I tried to start a fund to stop the New World Order, and Zuckerberg stop that donation campaign because apparently it's unacceptable to get rid of the New World Order. I guess that's technically to another one of their religions, right? There's plenty of people out there who worship. The Masons actually you worship, right? They have the pyramid and all that, and the compass and stuff. And I've seen some of their videos. I was in some of their live chats, and the members did have like the actual pyramid and stuff in their room, and they were trying to tell me it has nothing to do with it. It's like, yeah, except for he looked like Prince Harry here, right here, who is the pyramid people, and who looks exactly like Quinones, the mayor. No, that was Mayor Karen Base. She's a city council. She's the head of the water department. My bad. My bad. Um, I know I corrected that earlier, but I was just reading that real fast instead of putting it together right first. So the head of the water there, like looking like that. Man, it's not all, they all look the same there. That's what makes it so easy for me to start questioning why I only have one group of people in my life, because they all have been interbreeding, so I'm told. I think in my case, it might not exist because possible targets. I mean, they're targeting me, so there's a good chance they might have targeted my dad too. My dad, I'm not sure if my dad worked for them because he was one of them, or if he worked for them and then they targeted him because he worked for them. And you got to get rid of people who can do that, because technically, if he's not one of them, he was competition to Jeffrey Epstein and his people, owning and controlling everything on the planet. So here they are again. They own the water, and they're known for poisoning water too. So think about that. Look what they did with Michigan. They probably made that stuff happen, right? Because think the area of Michigan it was in was a city, and it wasn't like a white city, so they might do that to certain people. I might assume that's where their slaves in Egypt came from. But, oh yeah, one last thing to add. I noticed they're always using their not, like, if you hang out and talk with their Nazis, um, some of the ones in those propaganda centers are always pointing out, like, their response to everything is, oh, everyone else did that. That's why we do it. We're just better at it. So they say, oh, we're so bad because we slaved the whites. Like, they don't even argue. They don't even re-enslave the Africans. They don't even argue that that's not us, which is weird because that group should know. If they really think they're Europeans, then they would know that they were colonized, and that's why their nations use the Christian symbols, because they were colonized by a Middle Eastern group. But they don't. They just be like, the Middle Easterners also enslaved blacks, but it turns out to be they were worshiping a Middle Eastern religion. So, if they enslave the blacks over here, why? What makes them not be the same people who enslaved the blacks in the Middle East? Why would Middle Easterners worship some pale skin religion at all to begin with, the Bible? And on top of that, why would they be worshiping a religion that is the people who ran Egypt and enslaved people and then claim it's their own if they're not those people? Probably has something to do with, hold on. Probably has something to do with all these lies and fairy tales they talk about, like Santa Claus, which I swear to this day, like, there's some reason my life started getting filled with more of them than normal when I got older. I can't say for sure it wasn't ever that way. Actually, like, yeah, I mean, maybe I think it could just be America, but like everyone I knew looked pretty Roman to me. And actually, I did know a couple the blonde hair, 8 feet tall people and stuff, but I didn't hang out with them. We didn't hang out. They were older and shit. I would have. Kyle Stevens kind of looked like that too, and he was busy doing his own thing in life, and I was busy doing my thing. He went to fake wrestling, and they tried to get me in real wrestling. So, but other than that, like, and the other dude was still Catholic, but he was like 6 years older than me. And when I was a kid, if you was like 2 years older than someone else, you're just a little kid to them. So, everyone who were friends were like the same age or a year. It was like weird. My one friend was a year older. Like my friend was like scared to tell people because other people were probably like, "Hey, you're hanging out with a little kid and stuff." So it was like that when I was a kid. I like everyone else I knew was like, you know, Italian looking and stuff. But I felt more like I don't know. For some reason, I kind of assume around the time I started getting drugged was probably a concerted effort to attack me because I was winning awards from the president. And I'm gonna assume these people do things like that, go through, create test scores just to find and hunt people, which is, I mean, in their own book, they talk about, oh, people are trying to kill off certain bloodlines. Like the book itself is a book of bloodlines. The Bible is it's a race book. It starts with talking about the blood of Abraham, the bloodline of Abraham. And then it talks about other bloodlines too and stuff. But anyways, man, what a waste. I mean, it just keeps changing, right? They just keep changing the family members, which ones are important to focus on. It's going places. I'm sure we're gonna go real far with this stuff. I'm sure the media's gonna just gonna they just spent thousands of years taking over the planet and enslaving everyone to give it up, man. It's just gonna change like that. They got the power to shoot and burn down cities with space lasers. They're just gonna give it up. They're gonna come to Earth. They're gonna bring the real mothership down to Earth, the real Star Trek Enterprise, and just give you the keys to it and be like, we don't want to live. We don't even need this anymore. We want to live this simple life. Just sit back and work at McDonald's and do absolutely nothing of value. And you guys want to go build a religion, and I'll help you with that. What you do is you tell people that lick your feet if they're God, that they have to come lick your feet and clean it. Literally, I've had these people come and tell me this that these are the people who wrote the Bible. These are the people who run the Bible and every other religion and anti-religion and school of thought on the planet. But the Bible specifically has verses they can use. It always has everything, so they can pull it out their ass whenever they need something. But you got to really focus on what you really got to focus on is who to worship. Who's that? God. He's in the sky somewhere. Maybe in an alien spacecraft floating around with Jeffrey Epstein. Not too sure yet. Actually, that would be Elon Musk, Jeffrey Epstein's friend, who would be in the spacecraft up there in the heavens. And he is God, isn't he? He owns everything and the richest Rothschild on the planet. And he is God. He used to even be bald, and now he's not bald. Explain that. How do you even do that unless you're a magician or something? So yeah, I'm sure they just, I mean, they just put Elon Musk up out there as the new world's richest hero, and I don't think they're planning on giving anything over. There's probably a plan here on whose houses they hit, but it's like it's L.A. There is okay, it's USA. USA isn't Europeans. It, it's never been. They were talking about using the pyramid from Egypt when when the founding fathers were still killing off Native Americans to replace them. They were already talking about that. They were already referencing God chose us to find new land. You know, Chris Colombo did that. And, well, that girl comes from Chris Colombo land and stuff. But it's the way it is. I mean, it's real easy to see on the map when they went up the road 2 blocks and took a left from Egypt. They had to cut through Spain or Britain if they're going to cut through an empire to get to USA. So obviously, Spain would be tied into it because Spain was tied into Chris Colombo. And Spain's an important thing to know. It's a very nice place. You know, it's a good. It used to be, you know, a very large empire-ish or yeah, actually, yes, they did some conquests of their own. I mean, technically, USA was supposedly, you know, the Swedes and the Germans and the frickin' Russians, whatever they say it is. But, you know, if you look it up, it was, you know, there's different periods. There's Spanish, UK, and the French. And what does Emmanuel Macron look like? Oh, what does everyone else who owns everything look like? He looks like Elon Musk. He looks like a Middle Easterner with pale skin. A bad analogy because they don't really look like. Not all of them look like Middle Easterners. They look like what I would assume the pharaohs look like, and at least what I was shown in, like, if you watch one of those movies from the '80s where it shows the pharaoh and he looks like an Italian, like a Roman. That's what he looks like. So, and I mean, just look at all the other places. We can prove that. I didn't look into Spain's history, and I'm not gonna waste any time on it. All we have is Chris Colombo and the fact that they're so important. Pretty much, you can listen to an American and learn the truth by doing that. But you have to listen to what they're saying and then throw that away and just run with the exact opposite of what they say. Santa Claus is coming. No, it's not. I'll see you later. You got that right. If you would do that, you got that right. Now, if you would go anywhere in between that, you would be wrong. If you were like, hey, maybe I can manifest Santa flying through the air. Who's telling you can manifest Santa? Oh, it's frickin' the pharaohs again. It's Elon Musk telling you Santa's coming to town. It's Elon Musk telling you Santa's coming to town. I'm sorry, it was his father, Nasha. And then it's Elon Musk telling you you mustn't. No, actually, he's doing the science thing. My bad example. Who's doing the manifest stuff these days besides me, right? Um, it's who is leading their New Age cult these days? Ah, that's a good thing I don't know, I guess, because I try to ignore that. Anything, anything new they come out with, just no, no, thank you. Like talking about this, why did I do this? Because I make dumb decisions. I make bad life choices when I'm fucking pissed off and angry. So that's I made a bad life decision. Just wasted fucking 2 hours of my day talking about something that I've never seen change. It's remained a freaking constant the whole time I've been here. And pretty sure that's called raping and terrorizing someone for their entire life. Yeah, that, I mean, what else do you call child mutilation and separating people from people they want to be around? You know, pedophilia, sex cult rituals, racial supremacist cult rituals designed for slave races that they've half raped their way into. Um, it's nothing short of like fucking Nazi terrorism and shit. Fucking straight derailing your life. Hey, how would their people like it? They would love it. And could you imagine if like Howard Stern didn't have to date a girl who looked like Howard Stern? That's the whole point of them doing all this stuff, is so they don't have to be around someone who looks like them. Marilyn Monroe spends 4 hours on makeup every day because she doesn't want to be around someone who looks like herself. I can't blame her, but maybe you change your attitude, you change your looks. I know that works with me and stuff. Um, I don't know what to tell you about the broccoli top, but just, I can tell you the duck lips. Just I don't think that's actually beneficial, but keep it up. Keep it up. That's going to be. This is the first nation in history that's been that freaking stupid. And hopefully, once they burn all the libraries in USA down and throw away the internet to erase any trace of who they are and what they've been doing, then hopefully some of that gets saved, like the duck people, and the future people can look back at it and it'll be like the first thing you laughed at ever in the world. Ever. I don't remember any history that was funny. Whenever you're talking about, I find it amusing that people think Van Gogh is a painter, but it's like kind of sickening. Like it's not really like a funny, amusing thing. But I could be like, oh yeah, Van Gogh. Maybe I'll find that music. Not really. I actually find that disrespectful to art to have Rothschild looking Mona Lisa is the most beautiful portrait of a female ever, when in fact it is. It's the last person you're going to hire as a prostitute in a room full of women you get your choice as. Everyone would agree if they were given a choice of women they had to marry and be with the rest of their life, and she was one of the women. I think it would be really hard to go further than that. And then Van Gogh is so great. But you gotta realize the weird looking people often are related. Like the Rothschild and stuff. I don't even view that as like really sickening and ugly, like Smithers and and Burns and stuff. It's weird they put Burns that way, but one of the dudes passing the racist laws to protect Montgomery Burns people, and all these oppressed people who run the government and can pass laws to protect themselves because they were so oppressed. They own the government and pass laws to protect their people and take money from everyone else to give to their people only. They're so oppressed. Yeah. So we might assume that Harry here actually bought the house and insurance. And you got to realize, like, they weren't giving out insurance, so he just bought that in 2020, and they would know he's rich, so they could just be like, nah, like, we don't have to insure you and stuff. But I mean, they probably own that's pretty much like a bank, so they probably own it, right? But that makes good gossip news there to distract and make you think he's a victim. That's how they did it with the Bible. They're victims. They were victimized by Egypt. That's why they go around wearing the pyramid all the time and stuff. There's a reason I don't wear crosses. It's because I'm not going to be your little fucking victim and shit. So you can go victimize yourself. That's a better idea. People should victimize themselves instead of other people. I think that's always the best thing to do. If you want to go punch someone who's done absolutely nothing, is not part of a people or a group, who'll go around like bombing you and terrorizing you, something like that, if absolutely no reason, just punch yourself instead. Get the punching out. Pow. Just pat, pat. It doesn't even hurt that much. You'll get used to it. And don't be a baby about it. Just take it out on yourself if you want to do something like that. The world would be a safer place, a lot better place. And then you'll feel better too, because you know you just contributed to the world and made it a lot better, safer place, right? But for now, we got to deal with these people and what they're doing out here. So, I'm pretty sure that there's enough links between the broccoli here to... I mean, when are the broccoli going to stop being broccoli? Okay, so they own the government, they outlaw the drugs, they're the people in the streets selling drugs, they're the cops who control the drugs, they're the hospitals who sell the drugs legally, they're the military, they own the military who goes under the guise of bombing the world for Middle Easterners who want to go back home, who claim they're the real everyone else. They're the real Americans, the real Europeans, the real Middle Easterners. They're the real everything. Now they're getting kicked out of everywhere, yet they own everything. And in fact, the reality is, driving around USA, they are everyone here. There isn't no Europeans here. I mean, there's this little side of town up to the west. It's called, it's not called Ireland, it's called Dublin. Okay, so it's called Dublin, the capital of Ireland, right? And supposedly it's got some Irish people there. Supposedly the Irish people were put on slave ships and brought over here. So this nation, has some Irish people. It's got, I've seen more black people. I don't know if that's because, that's on the rich side of town, or what. But, and I like hanging out in the ghetto. But I've definitely seen more blacks here. So it's like, in between that, like, we have a little Somali community that's built up a while, and we got a little I live in a little Mexican community. Apparently, it's like a street with like 4 apartments of, sections of Mexicans. Might be some other areas, but this really is the place I knew before, with the actual Mexican restaurant right outside my door and stuff. And we have more of those around town, but I don't know the areas they live in, if they live in any other place than this street. So, other than that, what I keep seeing, and Epstein, his city is Wax, the city they actually built, like, and is known as his city, is, you know, Wexner's city is right up there. Well, all the way on the opposite side of town. It's not. It's the last right up, right by me place there is. It's on the exact opposite side of the outer belt. So, in all the travels, I didn't even see any other Irish sides of town. And I've never really driven around this one to confirm that there's any Irish people there. I've been to the, the Irish Fest. I've been to that a couple times, but I didn't really pay attention to people there. I was just checking out what was going on. I was last time I went there. I actually already knew I should probably check out things, but I don't intentionally necessarily go around seeing this. I just, you know, I see it. I like, man, I got these people who all look the same in my life, like, and they're causing lots of problems. So let's see if hanging out around different looking people would change my life any and change the quality of my relationships to an acceptable level. Like the first thing I really like is everyone to stop lying and tricking me to come around me. Like, you know, not too much to ask for there. And so that's when I realized, like, I do, like, maybe I'm the racist one making the bad decisions here to continually hang out with the same looking people. And I know that's not the case because they're guys. I'm not, you know, half of them are guys. I'm not even trying to date a guy. So their looks don't matter. Now, when it comes to girls, I'm generally not trying to date girls who look like that, but I date them. So, you know, put those together, I started like being like, why am I dating people who look like people who like I see them and they look like someone who just fucking tried to kill me or rape me or destroy my life, lied to me constantly, you know, like I can't, I literally just, I've been around some very beautiful people sometimes, but I can't, you know, and I find a new clone of them, I don't know if that would work because I would be thinking of that person. I can't have that happen. But boy, that happens a lot here. And so it's not I was going around looking for who's who. It's I wanted a break, you know, because apparently I was making bad decisions, choosing the same people in my life over and over. When in fact I wasn't choosing anyone because I never went and talked to anyone. So I never asked a girl out. Girls always come to me. And guys, I never talk to anyone. They always come to me. And it's probably got a lot to do with how people who look like that have acted towards me. Why would I want to talk to people? Why would they want me to talk? They don't want you to talk. They want you around and they want you to listen and to do things, but they don't want you to talk. So do I even talk? Not talk because I don't want to. Yeah, actually, kind of. But where does that come from? I know a lot of my personality comes from, you know, like people forcing their way in, child molesters, child mutilators, child deceivers, mutilators, molesters, you know. I mean, if you really fit any of those categories, you might want to go back to the Middle East with that shit and find some more people like yourself. go back to Egypt with it or wherever it is they're from. I mean, if they're lying, if they're lying like 10 ways back, oh, we was the Americans, but yet they're saying, oh no, we was the Europeans the other day, and then we was the Romans, and no, 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 I mean we was the Middle Easterners. You know, how far back does we was go, and where did that all start? Probably has something to do with the other pyramids in the world, China, South America, and then if that's correct, then they would go re-kill those people after they left them for a while, and build churches on top of their pyramids, and even including the pyramid on this one church. They're now going around telling everyone. I've seen online on Zuck, they're trying to say that, oh, the Church of Mexico is built on skulls because the ancient Zulu warlords of Aztec just killed tons of people. But it's like literally the church is built with skulls on it too, and has the New World Order pyramid on it. And who used the pyramids too? That's right, the Aztecs used pyramids too, didn't they? There's pyramids down there. And so they just build the church on top of the pyramid, just like they be willing to build their satanic temples on top of their churches, do Christian churches. But yet Anton LaVey, who wrote the Satanic Bible, is one of those Middle Eastern people sending his money to Israel. But they'll gladly use those people to kill off the other people, and have them both go kill each other off because they're slave cults. So if you're part of that, then they know that you're not one of them. You're like a halfling at most, unless you run the place. They know what's going on. How else do they work together? They're just bots that randomly appear in a game and stuff. How else do they talk to me about personal stuff? How else do they control the world for 6,000 years? I mean, that must not be hard, because if you can convince a human to worship flying invisible reindeer, you could probably convince them that rich and intelligent people eat dog turds, and that all the nutrients in that helps them. And that sounds more believable than flying reindeer, because I can't prove to you that eating dog turds does not make me smart, and I can't prove to you that eating dog turds is not what the Rothschild do. They're always talking about eating babies and stuff like that, because drinking blood, like Kim Kardashian, gets her blood facial and stuff like that. So why not eat dog turds too? If it makes you smarter, take it for the team, get some brains. But I'd be more likely to believe that than that flying invisible glow-in-the-dark reindeer exist or are coming, gonna bring me gifts, and I better be good and I better be nice. Other than that, Satan is going to bring me some hot coals to burn my ass in. I mean, it always ends there with the threats, right? With the you better worship us as gods, our people as gods, and give us your baby penises, and let us touch and taste it and make sure it's good. That's scientific. I gotta clean the baby penis, and my tongue has that natural sticky sticky thing. We don't have to, we got to recycle, so we're not going to waste a rag. We're not going to go around wasting rags and stuff. We have our tongue for these things, but save the rags for the females, and if they need clean, though, because that's kind of disgusting. Although they do that in the Middle East, but I think that's got to do with, that's their first stop outside of Egypt. So they had to slowly bring the frog to a boil in the pot. So their first Abrahamic religion for slaves was involved touching little girls, because touching females is acceptable. So it's just fine with me. If you like to touch females, that part of it is fine. It doesn't bother me. That doesn't make guys come up to me and act all fucking weird and disgusting like they do if they like guys. But that's also like they always say that's like a step towards legalizing child sex, but it's literally like the cult complaining to you about pedophilia and child sex, and are the ones who are mutilating children, which is way far. People rape children long before they mutilate children for fun. That's like, it's like when you're a kid and you drink coffee, and then, you turn to a teen and you drink Mountain Dew, and you turn to you go to college and you do a little bit of Ritalin, and you get out of college, you do some cocaine, and then you get a little bit older and you do some Adderall, and then you get a little bit older than that and you move on to meth, and then next thing you know, you're sticking your hand into an electrical outlet to get some sort of feeling, inclination there. Sticking your hand in an electrical outlet is equivalent compared to drinking a coffee, raping a child is down here like drinking coffee, and mutilating a child is up here where you've did everything else on the frickin' planet, and you're sticking your hand into an electrical outlet to get a little buzz. So that's that. That's these people. Patterns, same thing over and over, doesn't end. Pretty simple stuff. And same looks, doing the same thing they always do. And likely, a lot of people apparently think it looks fake. It does. Where are the real footage of fires? Where's all that? Where's the real footage of anything? I'm not sure if it actually happens. Like, I don't think it's them, like, not doing it, though. I've seen weird things when I was traveling, and it's almost like sometimes I'd be wondering, like, did that city even exist? Like, that's weird how, like, this city looks like it's been overthrown and somewhat destroyed and wrecked. And then I did get to see some places getting lightly smashed up. But there's definitely something off with it that doesn't look right. Like, looking at those videos, why do they choose all those videos? It's all like vagina videos. Like, I can go find a movie that looks more realistic than a 5-minute movie clip that looks more believable than a 2-week-long fire documented by 700 Rothschild news outlets. In a world where there's billions of people with smartphones who record everything in the world. Like, I walk around with my smartphone on if I can, because of these people, because of the humans and what they've been up to. I've got a lot of them on tape doing a lot of shit fucking involved in this stuff. I was part of the running for president when having to deal with that. No wonder they're so fucking pressed about me fucking going somewhere in life, because they seem to have been up to some sort of game previously, and I'm running to put an end to games. So everyone else is recording everything constantly. They're like, the babies. Oh my God, there's a baby. And you're like, it's not even your baby, but it's a baby. It's like, I gotta record it, I gotta get pictures of it. And they're like, oh, it's a birthday. It's not even your birthday. Yeah, but it's someone's birthday today, so let's take some photos. And I mean, like, look at all the shit you see online. Everyone's recording tons of shit. Like, I'm sitting right here recording stuff. I try to only do it if it's for business type purposes and protection. But everyone else is doing it, to make whatever people do on TikTok and stuff. Record their farts. Like, literally, that's what people I grew up around are probably doing with their cameras, like if they weren't dead. But if they would have lived to see smartphones, they probably would be like sitting there like, hey, check this out. Marilyn Monroe probably be recording her fart videos and stuff, like, check that out, party. I need some more plastic surgery too. Fuck. Okay, so I'm going to end this, but yeah, this is fucked up. I mean, we can keep talking about the trash, or we can kill ourselves to escape it, because apparently it doesn't go away. I mean, bro, they've been raping their way into my life for like fucking 4 years. Like, and they're what? They're who? There are how many of them? How many nations are there willing little pets and shit? Fucking. How many people are involved in this last attack on my life? I need to be more positive and listen to more fucking mentally retarded subhumans tell fart jokes. I think that's what I need to do. And can you imagine who is behind the fart jokes? Not just... Let's act like I'm not discussing any one person in particular, because I'm technically not. So let's ignore the fact that that person needed to go fuck their face up in order to look like a human and look like one of these people. Fucking let's ignore that. The other people tell fart jokes. You think that was Seinfeld, the Seinfelds? It sure was. Because they're geniuses. Like Einstein, like Hitler. Like Mao, probably, most likely. He was very deformed for an Asian person, and he brought forth Karl Marx's Bible doctrine. So, yeah, we might as well accept that the reason why Mao is deformed is because Mao was also these people. And Mao did what? The same thing these people do every nation they go to. Kill everybody and replace them. I don't know if Mao replaced them, but he sure killed them all, supposedly. That's what they tell us. And then that's them releasing their karma, telling you that Mao did it. Except for in USA, they told me that Europeans did the genocide here. Although, in their head, I think it's 3 days after they kill someone, that house and that land their people live on is now theirs, because God wouldn't have allowed that to happen if it wasn't supposed to be that way, and God didn't want it that way. And by God, I think they mean themselves. Jeffrey Epstein, he was. We can't really argue. Jeffrey Epstein has built most of this city. They spoke about that in the open in their newspapers, which they probably own. So their conclusion was we should just ignore it and move on. And it's real hard to ignore because you see his name on everything. And his people are raping their way into your life and forcing you to hang out with them, and so they can tell you that they're gods and you got to worship them and go kill for them in the Middle East, and how poor and oppressed they are, that they own the entire fucking world and enslave the entire world and don't let anyone else do anything or have any thoughts or go anywhere in life. Maybe it's just the trash I know. Because the world does seem weird, like there's some bots being controlled by a fucking pile of dog shit. If that's the case, the bots here, fucking definitely, whatever's operating them, like, every one of its puppets is the same pile of dog shit. Because that'd be like, I fucking kicking your teeth in and shooting your head off with a shotgun. Taking that shit clean off and sticking the shotgun down your neck, down your throat after I've blown your head clear off your body. And sticking that down and then, throat fucking you with it and blasting it a few more times and having sex with it, and then being like, and then everyone sees a video of it, and they're like, oh, well, we're going to have to kill him. And they're like, but no. He didn't use his leg to do that. So, save his leg. His leg's a good person. That's what that's like. What they call that when we're talking about those people? The myth of the good one. It's the myth of the good one. The myth of the good leg. Well, here's getting this place over with fast and shit, so we can forget all about Earth. Solve all Earth's problem, and then get the hell out of here so we can forget this place ever fucking existed.